So, welcome to the next episode of the Real Roadmap podcast. Today's guest I have wanted to talk to for some time now. I've been following what he's doing for many years. He's been a bit of an infamous name around our local town of Northampton. But today's guest is all the way to the end. All the way to the end. Stuart, you can cut that bit, can't you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, fuck a tosser. He's the infamous Daniel Granger. So, Dan, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Liam. Thank you for having me here.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we've just rabbited for like 5-10 minutes before just about what I was hoping to sort of extract from your brain. And I've been watching what you've been doing over the last few years. Well, innately, I've kind of had to watch what you're doing because of the profile that you've built around the TV stuff, but also the healing work that you've been doing as well, which has been really, really interesting to me. I'm sure we're going to dig right into that sort of stuff. But firstly, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Do you know what? For a long time, those words are authentic. Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Yeah, okay.
But I've had to work hard at that.
Yeah. And what's made it so hard to work on that thing for you?
Doing the work.
Yeah.
Doing the work that was needed. Okay. Always procrastinating about it, and just life in general. Mm-hmm. You've got to get up. You've got to go and do that. You got your duties. You've got your father duties, your work duties, the stuff that you've put out, and you can't give up on that. Got to operate. No matter how you're feeling, no matter what's going on in your life, you still have to show up and put that mask on. Mm-hmm. And that for me was exhausting. Yeah. So I knew I had to work harder than the exhausting work to get to where I wanted to do. Yeah. I knew what I had to do. I knew what was in front of me. But I just kept putting it off. Right. And that would be a consistency of achieving whilst feeling unwell. Okay. And hiding that. And any time that I got a sense of a high, I loved that high, that endorphins. 9 times out of 10, it wasn't on my lows that I self-sabotage. I'd self-sabotage my highs. What does self-sabotaging look like to you, though? Because again, this is a great idea, because outsidely, let's say, the way I would see you is you've got everything, all your ducks stacked in a really nice row, yeah? Like so then, yeah, of course. But the element of sabotage, like, what does that look like to you? What do you... For me, I was diagnosed with bipolar. Okay. Diagnosed because I needed someone to help me take action this time.
Sure.
And they said it was like, okay, so you've got a pendulum, and one side is harmony and this side is conflict, and you swing between them. And this has really made sense, my bipolar. Mm-hmm. And they called me extreme bipolar because I was extremely high or extremely low. Mm-hmm. There was never a soft approach to it. You're either there or there. And I'd go up into harmony, and harmony I didn't feel comfortable because up there I'm not achieving. Mm-hmm. That's contentment. Harmony. Yeah. So I'd swing it back into conflict where I'm more comfortable, because that's what suited my whole life to give me the driver to where I'm going to go to. Yeah. And then I swing back up there, can't stay there too long, back down there. And self-sabotage is drugs, 100%, alcohol, self-doubt, all of these things, and not loving yourself is self-sabotage. I hate the way I talk to myself was horrendous. Yeah. If I spoke to my best mate like that, I would have no friends. Yeah. So I'm falling out with myself consistently. And then I'd go and chase the high again. I'd do something incredible, or I'd achieve something in business or in family or in life, just little goals. And I'd set up that goal, congratulate myself. What do I congratulate myself with? Drugs and alcohol. Yeah. And then I'm like, my body can't do this anymore. And the drugs stopped working. Yeah. That's that song, isn't it? Drugs don't work. And they stopped working on those highs. As a kid, it was all right. But as an adult, you every single day means something to me. So having a hangover for 3 days after doing a celebration, I'd go and win an award and then spend most of the night just off my nut because I've won. Gratification, self-loving, keep that high. And then for a week after, it was it. That was it, rubbish. So I knew that was part of the work I've got to give up. Right.
Well, you see, for me, like, similar in a sense, and it's humbling to hear you say that, because I identify with that massively, because drink and drugs was really part of my culture. I mean, you'll remember the ghost days, Yes. The culture of drink and drugs was very prominent And that was the way that we lived as young people coming up in the world. And because the world is geared to, we drink when we're sad, we drink when we're happy, we party when we're, you know what I mean? It's always culturally relevant to do something. It's Christmas, it's like bank holiday, it's just any day. Yeah. Whether we're going to a funeral, what are we doing? We're getting off our heads. If we're going to a wedding, what are we doing? Definitely getting off our heads. So that nature, when you get to a point, what I found was, in order to change how I felt, I deeply disliked myself for the same reasons that you felt, which was like, I couldn't talk to myself in any other way. I was constantly letting myself down on a daily basis. And because I couldn't honor my own wishes to myself, it made it easy for me to hate myself. And because I wasn't instructed on how to communicate with myself, and I was communicated with quite poorly on the outside, that's my narrative. You're a fucking idiot. You're a loser. What are you doing? You can't do this. And then I'll go and build something beautiful, create something, and then rip it down because I couldn't stop, because I couldn't change the way I feel. That thing didn't change me.
It's like you didn't deserve it. Yeah.
Nah, but technically I didn't. Like, I could spin the plates. I could make it look all right. But secretly, I'm sniffing every day. Every day. And that was like, A, really expensive, but also B, like my spirit had left me. Yeah. I had nothing. I was a shell. I was a costume of a man. And it's lovely. It's not lovely to hear, but there's that identification there that a lot of people will get from this conversation. It's like, oh, there's more of us.
Yeah.
We are the same.
Yeah.
Secret or not, whatever industry you're in, whatever job you're doing, that thing exists.
Yeah, it's there. And it's some people's dirty secret.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, it's everyone's there. Everyone's doing it and waiting to get away from it. You know, I still see some of my friends now like partying, and I'm like, you're gonna have a heart attack. Yeah. Like, you can't keep existing for that. There's more to life.
Way more.
That's the search I went on for. What is this? Like, why do I keep going there? Why am I smoking weed every day to get away from my own self? And then it was like, right, what have I got to do? Because I became so unwell, so suicidal, and both my father and brother killed themselves. And that for me was never going to be me. And then it was me. And I've got 3 children and 2 grandkids. And for me, that was it was only November. So amongst all this success on the bravado of the outside, you never know what's going on in someone's life. And I was quite open about it, started talking about it, got into like men's groups, and I knew the work but I kept going back and falling back and falling back, but I was always taking steps forward. Yeah. And then the suicide that came with all of these things that you don't like about yourself, and they stick harder than the things you do like about yourself. Yeah. And then I think one heavy night, just then it wouldn't switch the thoughts off for a long time. And daily I was having these negative thoughts of suicide. You need to kill yourself. Like, I'd be driving up the M1 to go and collect my son, and I'd be thinking of driving off, and there's a thought. Yeah. And then those thoughts became so exhausting, so tiring that I just went, I need help. I tell you what, getting help is the hardest thing. First, the hardest thing is actually telling people, because it's embarrassing. Yeah. You know, this guy who's on TV, the guy's got this business, the guy's doing all these things, it looks good, and showing his smile and beautiful girlfriend, wife, and their family, and then actually inside you're just sad. Yeah. So I went and got help. And if I didn't have the money, I'd probably still be waiting for that help. That's the sad thing.
Yes, terrible. It's the feelings that you had. You're fortunately in a position to fund your way out to a degree. Yeah. And a lot of people don't. At the time when I got myself sorted, I didn't have the money behind me to do it in the same way you probably did. But there are metrics to doing it, and one thing that I hope you might be able to agree with, I don't know. The first thing is the willingness. Yeah. Like, I'm ready. Yeah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop making a mess of my life. I'm going to stop disrespecting everything I've built for me. I did this, and now I'm doing this to me and them. Do you know what I mean? And for me to unwind that is the pain and the guilt that you feel for doing it, the shame and the guilt for your entire past. Because I know every horrible, disgusting, unloving, unkind thing I've done or felt. All the deceit, the sneaking around, the getting the drugs, not telling anyone, oh, I'm just tired today when you know you barely slept. It's like the vulnerability comes from actually saying, do you know what? I'm fucked and I'm terrified and I'm too ashamed to tell anyone. And when you get to that space, it's almost like everything can drop away. Now, the key I found, I don't know if this is the same for you, maybe you can share your experience with us, but I had to let go of the blame. Like whatever I've been through, every part of my life I've been through, it's done. If somebody's harmed me, something bad's happened, somebody's done something that's really, really traumatized me, so my acceptance of that over time, it's not just like, okay, I accept it. Over time allows me to move away from it and forgive myself and forgive them. They're the two things that really struggled for me. It's like forgiveness and forgiving myself. What do you think? Is there anything along those lines that impacted you?
Forgiveness is a big thing for me. I was taught to forgive, and I always thought that would be quite healing. But the truth of the matter is that some people do not deserve forgiveness. They truly not. I'm not going to let you have that.
Okay.
I'd rather live with that.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather live with not forgiving you. It's a big thing. Like, if I was, sexually abused as a child,
okay,
I can't forgive you.
That's fair.
I cannot forgive you.
It's completely fair.
And I'm not going to forgive you.
No, of course.
Justice will.
There you go.
They'll forgive you. God will forgive you.
How have you got peace around that, if you don't mind me asking? How? Because like if the concept of forgiveness is, it's almost like I could never do that, which is completely fine. It's completely reasonable. Yeah. How do you separate from the trauma? How do you walk away from it?
It's the energy that you carry with that.
Yeah.
The memory of the energy. It's the memory, and then you got the emotion for me, and there's an energy to it. So where do you feel that energy? Where did you trap it? Where's the trauma? So energy for me, energy, emotion. So the E stands for energy. And it's that energy that's attached to the memory. I had help taking that away.
Yeah.
Separating the two. So I'd still have the memory, but not the emotional attachment to it. Now, how I did that, I went and got some energy therapy.
Okay.
Literally, he said, right, go back to that memory, because it would haunt me every year. And the memory was my father killing himself. And it was Christmas Day when he died. So I know it's coming. And every year I'd make this dream up. And it was the same dream since I was 8 years old. And he'd come, and here we go, here's the winter. So I went to this energy therapist, and he explained this.
Yeah.
There's a memory, Daniel, and it's locked with an emotion that's keeping you alive. So we're just going to get you to go back to that memory, and we're going to attach the emotion. Within a click of his fingers, I could remember it, but I couldn't feel it. And then I thought, well, if he can do that, I can do that myself.
Yeah.
Detach yourself, but in a ceremonial way. If you do a ceremonial way, everything I've come down to is a ceremony of I'm sitting here with my space to do the work for that job. So the first one was, to think about my uncles as they took me through the sexual abuse. What was attached to that was shame, because I sat in a group of men, and we were very vulnerable in this group. And I started talking about the sexual shame that I carried with me. And I said, do you know what it is, guys? And I'm going to say it quite frankly in front of you all. Did any of you actually like it? Is that the pain? Because you liked it. And they were like, I've never looked at it like that. I went, I have, because it didn't hurt me. I loved it, because that was love for me. And trying to just empty and figure that one out.
Yeah.
It was so much to unpack. But, just by saying that out loud, it's actually the love that I'm ashamed of. I loved the man. And when he went away, I missed him, because it was like, I was only 6 years old when they started kind of doing their things with me and stuff. But yeah, it was like, I liked going around there. Oh, you're going to Uncle Thingy. I won't mention his name because it's in court at the minute.
Oh, bless you.
It probably is good. But figure this one out.
Okay.
So I wanted to do some work with this to see if there's any of that left in me. And because it didn't hurt then, I didn't feel ashamed. I only got ashamed when I was older and I just told someone about it. And they went, that's really bad. I'm like, is it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? And you learn sexual when you go through school and stuff. And you're not actually attracted to men, and a man used to do that and whatever. But I went on this spiritual journey, and I found his spirit. His spirit asked me for forgiveness, and I said no, you can have that. A week later, he's dead, and I was like, and I've literally gone this year to go into court. And I met his spirit in the plane, whatever this Harry Potter stuff you want to say. I felt him, I met him, and he asked for forgiveness. I didn't give it. So he died with that. That's how I go, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Now, firstly, I appreciate you sharing all that stuff with me.
Yeah,
it's a big thing. I couldn't conceive what that may have been like. There was something you mentioned there, which is like the unpacking of, like you something complex to unpack. Yeah. And the range of emotional damage that we take from these things, we're too young or unconscious, even as adults, to even understand. And when you talk about this Harry Potter shit, I am into it. Okay. Like my healing journey has been very Harry Potter. Like, and the beautiful thing that you shared is like you had to go and the spirit asked you for forgiveness. You're like, no. That's to realize, firstly, that's okay. Yeah, that's cool. Because you as a spirit in this body get to choose your free will, and that's your thing. You chose that. And I identified with that a lot because there were things that I've experienced in my life, and I won't go into too much detail, but there are experiences and feelings that I felt. I was scared a lot, and I was very scared actually, and I just wanted love. And it was like similar to you, like the admiration, the love that was there. And to be scared or harmed by that love, but still wanted to be like, it was like the most important thing to me. And my healing came from two things. So I was in a ceremony. When you say the word ceremony, it means so much to me because life is a ceremony, man. And like you have to choose your path through all things, all situations. And, I had this ceremony and I was having a really hard time, like through 3 or 4. I don't know if you sat with ayahuasca. I've done a few ceremonies this year, but the last 3 were awful, like horrible.
Made you do the work.
Horrible, horrible. And a lot of purging, but it was all energy and it was all stuck and it was all down here. Like on my 3rd ceremony, it like stretched me out. And I was like throwing up into a bowl, but there was no sick coming out, and it stretched me right out, and I could feel it coming up, and then it came out, and it was like the tiniest bit of sick. It was black. And I knew what it was, and I was like, I cried my eyes out. I was like, it's done. And then I sat up, and I was like, there was a woman in the ceremony, a beautiful lady called Niagara. She's incredible. And she was off doing her own ceremony 1-to-1 with herself. So she'd gone and done her own one, and then she integrated with us. There was a few of us in the room. She came in and I couldn't see her, but I leant round and I knew she was there. And at that moment, I knew I needed a woman. So I asked her to come over, and she said, "What do you need?" I said, "Just be here." And she grabbed me. She hugged me, and like a cry came out of me. It was so deep, and it wasn't like wah. It was like a sob from my deepest soul. It was like, all I've ever wanted is to be seen and to be loved and to be nurtured at times when I felt scared, and to be allowed to make mistakes, and that be okay. Like, even at 35, I've never done this before. This is as far as I've got. You know what I mean? It should be okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to continue to make mistakes.
No, you've got to catch yourself.
But when you make a mistake, it's like we batter ourselves and the world around us like, you fucking did this. It's like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're sorry, you're sorry. And I just cried and this blame, and I didn't realise how much it was just a nurturing thing for me. I just needed to be held, which is why in relationships I've been so needy, and my partner like, love me. I'd have a demand to make because I need it. And look, there's a little kid in me that's like that. And like, it makes me very emotional thinking about it because I just released it. It's like, I'm all right. And I'm reparenting me now as an adult. And I think a lot of us that are stuck in this cycle of drink and drugs and partying and chasing girls, or whatever they're doing, or whatever we are doing, or whatever one does, we're stuck in that cycle because we can't face ourselves. We can't face the past, the things that have happened, the things that we've done, and the things that we want to be. So in spite of the fact that you've built this beautiful life, and like you've got all the trippings and trappings of someone that's absolutely made it, you know?
But I always think if I'd done more, you know, I've always, and I had a conversation with my friend on the way here. It's like, have I done enough? You know, am I going to get to the end? Have I done enough? And if I didn't waste so much time doing that, and actually, you probably didn't actually waste any time. That was going to happen. You were going to go enjoy yourself and doing the drink and drugs and stuff. Are we going back to our past and saying it's our past that makes us do that? Nonsense. We just like doing it. It's a social circle. It's when you do it to excess.
Yeah. Well, we do like it. Right. And I think it's part of the culture and part of how we know the world to be, right? Yeah. If you look at if you watch a film from like the Roman times, there's the rich people all sitting there drinking the wine, there's the peasants all in the brothels, and you know what I mean? It's like the Game of Thrones type world, do you know what I mean? But you just change that to a place with flashing lights and neon signs and Rolexes. It's the same thing, but it in essence, to me, it feels a bit like our culture indicates that that's the way, right? And we enjoy drinking and we enjoy that world, which is fine. It lubricates a social situation. But for most of us, particularly the ones that can't stop when they want to, like, I'm glad I'm extreme because I've stopped completely. Yeah. I spent some time in a pub on Friday night and I could see a few of my friends. There was somebody off their head on Ket. There was just people like all over the place. And I'm like, it's 8 o'clock on a Friday. Because I'm so disenfranchised from that now, to me, it feels so foreign in that place where that was my home. So that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's not for me.
Just not for me. My path now.
Yeah. And my path now is like, people will think it's weird for me to go and sit and drink plant medicine and piss and shit myself and throw up in a bowl and pay money for that experience. It's the same as what they're doing, right? But to me, I'm facing stuff there. Yeah. Nobody in the history of ever has ever got to the bottom of a Jack Daniels bottle and healed.
Never.
It's just never there. No. It's like, not this one, next one. Not there. But at the top of bottom of a cup of ayahuasca or a heroic dose of mushrooms or some sort of psychedelic experience for me it's fractured my reality in a way where I look at everyone and I just think, you are me. We are it. And there's only your life experience that's made you you. Every feeling, conditioned thought, belief, it's just made you. And I always like understanding that, which is why I want to get interesting people like you on.
You say like the ayahuasca and the plant medicine and madness.
Yeah.
So when you actually do the research on modern science, and this is what made me want to go and practice that, is that there was a professor that went to see this tribe in Peru and realized that there's this medicine that makes people convulse.
Yeah.
And when they convulse enough, they purge and then they seem to be mentally healed.
Yeah.
So they tried to take that back to America. They went, you can't bring a drug back here. And they started looking at, well, what did that drug do? They convulsed people.
Yeah.
So then they realized that they'd tried out electroshock. So electroshock treatment is okay, but a medicine isn't. So I had the electroshock treatment done in October.
Okay.
To help me. I had nowhere to go. Literally,
Really?
I'm full stop now. Usually I can get through something, get over something with a bit of hard work and determination for us to get into the gym. At this point, I'm mentally very unwell.
Yeah.
And I need help. So it was electroshock treatment that I would receive. And that brought me back to life. And
really?
Things go quiet in your brain. PTSD shuts down the cortex or opens the cortex, shuts down any happy emotion. Because at any point, if you're happy, you're not aware, you're going to get shot. So you need to be fully in fear and fully open to what's coming at you. And that's when you live in that state of PTSD. So you need to actually open up those other receptors, happiness, joy, all those things that create nice memories. So what the electroshock treatment does, and I went on to one called TMS, which is magnets to then pulse and open.
Really?
Open. Next thing you know, I could read. These bits of my brain that weren't talking to each other, weren't flicking neurons quick enough. And I started to be and think and clear, and the thoughts would disappear because it's just happiness is in there. So it does work. And then I thought, right, what's next? If I can get that level of hope it gave me. There's hope.
Astonishing, man.
Oh my God, I'm okay. I can go back to work. And I started telling people, look, and they were like, you're different. I am different, aren't I?
Yeah,
what else can I do? And I thought, wow, and I love quotes and I love inspirational speaking. I just give me it. Give me it. Because something, what it means to you, it means someone else. But I'll catch these words and I'll go, what does that mean for me today? Or someone send me a quote. One of them was a good professor, I can't remember his name. I'm not good with names sometimes, but he would say, what if you gave yourself 100% for 1 year? What would you get done? And you know what that 100% is. You know what that is.
You know it is.
What if?
Sounds like a Jordan Peterson thing.
It's Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And I went, all right. When? Symbolic day. Let's choose a symbolic day. So I choose New Year's Eve resolutions. I need to resolve something. And that's what that means. I'm going to resolve something and I'm going to cut that out. So I lined up my medication, some cocaine, some weed, a cigarette and a shot. And I tasted it and I went, you don't serve me, and threw it away. You don't serve me, threw it away. And I never looked back from January 1st. And what are we now, 11 months in?
What, so you did?
Yeah, the whole lot. I went cold turkey. And because I was so convicted that I'm going to do this, I did it. I don't talk about it. I take action. That's me. That's what I'm going to do. And I did it. And it's been amazing. And then to go on to do the things, because there was a lot of things happening to me that kept happening to me. It's because you're not changing anything.
Yeah.
Nothing changes. So I knew I had to radically change everything. And in there, I felt so peaceful, so calm, and so much time. Too much time. And I was like, right, I need to do something with that time to have a positive effect. Gym, we all know, moving is the biggest way out of depression.
100%.
Get your ass moving. So I would go down to the gym, put my head down, not do much, but do enough. And then that progressed into getting a PT. Then I saw two brothers boxing. I liked the brothership there. So would you teach me that? Because I live in such a feminine world. I wanted to bring my masculine side out a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that.
So that then drew me into then I was like, right now I need a big goal with my new lungs, my newfound health. And it just started from there. Literally, life just started getting better. Now it's just keeping a hold of that. I need to keep hold of that life. And that's easy. It's the easiest thing I've ever done.
It's the nurturing of it. And I think, again, it's such a beautiful story. And, these energies get stuck in us and they hold us back in ways we can't even fathom. And it takes sometimes something serious like the electricity treatment For me, a lot of stuck energy was through the plant medicines. A lot of things that I've changed in my life have been through these deeply powerful experiences. But the only thing that has ever changed me is me looking at myself and going, nah, we aren't doing this anymore. And we change. And like, I was ready to die. I was ready to tap out. I had planned it all. I'd made the biggest mess. I was done. I was out, mate. I couldn't do it anymore. And, you know, there's some part of me that says that there are way too many days left in this. What for me to not see what happens from here? Like, you mean to tell me that you're going to log out now and you ain't even halfway through your book, you know? And, you know, and I can talk honestly at this. Like, this year, I lost everything. I lost everything. I had the 6-figure job. I had the car. I had the house, the kid. I just had everything. I lost it all. Because I didn't like myself. I'd built everything back up to where I wanted it to be. And it was like, oh, it's still not it. And I did a lot of healing work this year, you know, and I reached a point where it was like, do you know what? This starting from zero is a very rare and important opportunity to go. And like you're in the midst of now, I am firing on all cylinders. Okay. And every single thing that I get to face now is an opportunity to get better. And I make mistakes still. Things are hard. But I get to stand in the difficulty and say, I've got this, man. You send me what you like, mate. You send anything. Send everything you've got. I have done it all and I'll be fine and I'll face it better than I've ever faced before. Because the first thing is, I ain't making a mess. If I stop making a mess, I get a chance to clean up. You know what I mean? These unruly dogs that are running around in my house, smashing everything up, and then me perpetually trying to clean everything up, heal things, say my sorries, manage. Like, you just can't do it. You have to say, all right, the dogs are getting out. Right, we're going to clean this house and then we're going to renovate it. And at the moment, it sounds like you're in that renovation process.
It took about 5 years. You know, it took about 5 years. And, you know, the first time I felt or heard about like shamanism and, you know, the healing and the spiritual world and stuff like that, I was a religious person. I grew up, I was homeless when I was about 12 years old. I'd left home. My mum had met a maniac and I got beat to death and I had to leave that family at 12. I stood on my own feet. About 12, 13. And I slept on the streets, knew what it's like to really, really want. And then went to the Jesus Army and I lived with them. And the religiousness of the nature of it. And whatever people want to call the Jesus Army, it helped me. I have not a bad word to say about them. There were good people there amongst the badness. And then from there, hope just came exploring at me. And religion for me was forgotten. You know, I weren't religious. It took a lot away from me. But I always look up. I look up and I say a prayer. And what I realize is that prayer is something that you want or you would like and willing something to look after me here. Please don't make that, don't let that be a thing or, oh, I really want that. You know, you're always asking the universe, this godly spirit that we've tapped into, wherever you have put a label as God or universe or Buddha, whatever you like, it's the one God or the one energy. And that I've learned a lot about. And I'm still discovering. I don't know much about this Harry Potter stuff, but it seems to be a hope that I have some control. And what the things that I'm asking for and the things that I'm really desperate for and non-selfish things at the same time, you know, and it's gratitude. That's the biggest one as well. So, like, do you know when we used to sit around the table and say, I'm grateful for this? You have to have that. So, like, not a lot of people have these things. So that was another thing for religion. The prayer, the saying prayer around dinner, the sitting down, looking at the sky, asking for my spirits and my father, are you proud of me? You know, you're proud of me, Dad. And most of that is, if you'd stuck around, you see what I've become. You know? So religion there. And then when I tapped into it, the first time I did San Pedro, I went away to Peru this year with a company called Men Without Masks. I reached out to them and they're online. the funny thing is, like, as much as the government are listening to you, so is the universe. And you're asking for help, it will send it. It will come in its different forms. And it came to me, and I've got in touch with this guy called Craig Whiting, and I just went, leap of faith, book it. So I just booked it. Booked this retreat, went on this retreat, 24 men, healing, lots and lots of work, no outside information, no phones, no books. You are the book, he would say. And you'd sit there by yourself without the reality that you got no business. And then you do the work each day, every day from 6 till 9, all you. It's going to be all about you. Everything, get it out for 5 days. You work on your lover, you work on your warrior, you work on your king and your magician, your advisor, the magic in you. I experience things I've never experienced, and the power of meditation, the power of breath, just how we breathe. We take that for granted, but regulating yourself. It's just like, and I use all of these things to stay away from the old self. All of these things to stay away from that self-destruction, that stuff. And now I'm like, this year, have I got as much done as I thought I would? Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I got that and more, but I like myself. I actually can say I love myself, which then they say you can't love another person until you truly love yourself. So true.
Yeah, man.
You're just waiting for it. But actually, I've met I manifested the perfect woman. And because I kept on getting tragedy, I was attracting the same person, the same thing was kept happening and happening and happening. It's because my energy was aligning with their energy.
Yeah.
So you're going to meet each other on the plane. But as soon as you can kind of just get rid of that sexual past was the biggest one when I met the shaman.
Really?
And it was from an energy therapy. He put me in touch with this shaman, and he went, "You are a cutter of hair. You have to give back to Mother Earth. There is women out there for your blood." I'm like, that's about right. That's about
Sounds
right.
all right, yeah.
How's he sussed me out from all that way over there?
He knows, doesn't it?
I thought he's Googled me.
Yeah.
And then, so I thought, right, let's do this. How much do you want to change? So I listened to his instructions, and they were, find this waterfall, this Pacific waterfall, and give the instructions of where it is. It's in Wales. You have to take 10 baths, and wash yourself with the soil. Come back out, go back in, bath yourself, wash it down with the soil. Come back out, and then you have to then go and bath yourself in cinnamon, garlic, and sugar, and the kilos and the weight, and boil it in a pot. I'm like, it's bonkers. What is this madness?
What is this?
So this guy helped me. He took me down there. He's doing a lot of work with PTSD. And I went to his house, didn't know the man. Leap of faith, I'm going to get better. This is the first time. This is like 5 years now. So I've been working on it for 5 years. It's not like it happened New Year's Eve. No, I needed to get to the point where I was ready to do that. But it's just stages, one step. I didn't look at the top of the staircase, which is now. I looked at just that step. I'm going to take it. So took the step, went into this guy's house. He's talking about how he would kill people for a living, for the Russians, to sever them. And I'm sitting there going, I'm going to die here today. I'm dying. And I'm like, I've got to sleep on his couch. I thought I was going to get strung up and he was going to start like snatching up my nuts or something. And then he woke me up in the morning. We went down to this waterfall, and it was the coldest 5 a.m. I've ever had in my life, and ice water. I took my shoes off. It said, take your shoes off, put your feet in the ground. You're going to ground you and connect you with the earth. I felt this energy coming up through me. So I can feel something. I'm going to go with it. You can call it whatever you like. Yeah. Go against the grain or go with it. You're going to get something from it. You're going to see. And then he said, now you need to de-shed yourself of all your sexual past. He said, what you got to do now is you've got to picture every woman you've had sexual interaction with through your whole life. And you've got to wash them down of you and wash yourself of them. Yeah. And then say goodbye. Yeah. Forgiveness. I was like, how long have you got? I'm going to be here a while. Yeah. I was a naughty
6
boy.
weeks later, yeah.
But one by one, I sat there and physically did this, and I could see them. I could see the innocence of them. You know, the love that we shared, and some of them were a bit toxic, and they're on. I could feel that they're on me and on. And then there was one difficult one right at the end that I was having the most trouble with. I couldn't bring her, and he went, "Let me summon her spirit." And I could hear him, but there she came in front of me, and she was in this kind of rigid skin. And then I just kept washing her, and this golden girl came out of her. Because no matter how our relationship didn't work, it wasn't necessarily one or the other. It was the two energies weren't supposed to be together, and we were fighting to try and keep it together, and we shouldn't have, and it caused toxicness. And I forgave her, took my 10 baths in ice water. That's when I realized cold therapy.
Yeah.
And that tremoring, shaking your nervous system, get it moving, get it doing something. And then I drove home. I wasn't murdered, thank God.
Yes.
I drove home, and then I boiled the cinnamon, brown sugar and garlic. I boiled it. I'm doing this all by myself. Lit a candle like it said. I boiled this stuff up, got in the bath, and I bathed in it. Not realising sugar boiled is very hot.
Yeah.
So it took a while. So
They use that in prison to burn each other's faces off.
So I'm washing myself down in this. And for a short time, I felt good. And then there was a sex ban, sexual energy. They banned me for sex for, I think it was like 6 weeks. And you will find the perfect person that's meant for you. And I think I was about 4 weeks in. And how many women I was seeing at the time, they would try and persuade me to break that rule. They wanted that because you weren't giving it. They want it even more. And I went away with a few friends to Gibraltar and sat with them. And I said, well, what kind of girl do you want? I want somebody that's just kind, just so kind. I need kindness because I'm a kind man. I want that brought out of me. And I want someone who's just fucking sexy. And they don't exist. And then bam, my phone popped up. Literally at that point, ting, notification in Instagram with the words from this picture saying, will you marry me? And I was like, wow, she's hot. This is fake. I'll put back, if you are as kind as you are beautiful, then yeah, we get married this year. That was 3 years ago.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So you can find it. Or I would have just found the same energy that I had. I had to change me to change the outcome of what I attract.
It's the work that gets done in you that promotes the outside world. Like when we talk energy shifting and the changes that we have to make inside of us to manifest the life outside of us.
Yeah.
So big. It's like you can't even contemplate the level of effort that it would require for you to just let go of the old idea and then the new can come. And like if I'm honest with you, you know, I love talking energy. I love talking all that stuff because it's like a language I don't get to speak often. Yeah, I have a couple of people that I can talk it with and healing and all that work. So where you've been and what you're doing, I've spent years doing myself. And you don't often come across people that you can say, oh, you've been doing this too. Like going on retreats for 4 days where the only question you have to ask yourself is, who am I? 3 whole days, 5 a.m. till 11 at night. Yeah. And you sit opposite people like this and there's 28 people there. And every hour you swap to somebody else. And at the start, they say, tell me who you are. So you tell them who you are. And then you say, tell me who you are.
Powerful.
Yeah. And then so for hours on end, you are telling somebody who you think you are. And then like you sat in these uncomfortable chairs, it's a long day. You start realizing I'm just saying things I've done. I'm only telling you a story. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
And then so my uncle, it was not my uncle, I call him my uncle, he's one of my dad's friends. He was on the podcast a few weeks ago. He's like a spiritual guru, genius. And he was there and he said to me, go for a walk. So I went for a walk and I've gone outside and it's a beautiful, serene place. Like it just rained, there's steam coming off the grass. I've walked over to this fence and I've looked, it sounds like a bit of like a dream, but I walked over to this fence and there's 2 horses in there and they both had steam coming off their backs. There's a big black stallion and it came over to the female horse and it tried to climb on the back of it. Excellent. And in my head, I went, go on, boy. Right? And then I realised it twigged and everything changed for me in that moment. Yeah, where I realised I was like, oh, that's who I am. right? And I don't mean like that, but I'm all right to be silly in each moment. No matter how serious this weekend is, I am silly.
Yeah.
I'm all right with
Playful.
that. Playful, yeah? So I've walked back up the colours of the plants, the flowers, they all look different. They're all brighter. Everything was there because I realised who I am is not anything other than what I am feeling in this moment, which will change moment by moment. The closer to presence I am with that, that is me. Me being happy or me being sad is still me. It's an experience I'm having. We can't get into neutral and stay there. We may get into bliss. We may get into sadness, but we change moment by moment. And I love that. And what you're talking about there is like the depths of you that you've had to explore in order to open up your opportunity to be who you want to be and attract the love that you want and build the life that you want. And it's that thought in your head, like, now what? What's next? How many people can say that in this year, have you done what you wanted to do? Most people are like, well, I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that. And I did it for a week and now I've done none of it. And it's like, yeah, cool. Start again next year then. We'll wait another 364 days until you start all over again. Yeah. For me, it's like I allow myself to push, but I also allow myself to stop. Yeah, so if I'm losing weight over time, I'm not trying to do it in 2 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever. Over time, keep training. I train hard. I go in the morning. I get it done. That's my routine. I go every day. But if I want to sit and have a pizza with the family, I'm going to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If I want to go out and do something, I will do that. What we tend to do as people is starve ourselves from the experiences that we need. It's when we lean on those experiences that become trouble. Yeah. Like nights out, pizza every day, or you know what I mean? People go in the shop and like I do it. Sometimes I bought a few sweets here and there, like. But I've got a day where I'm sitting and I'm chilling, I'm talking. It's a lot of effort and energy. We think it's just a conversation, but like,
there's a lot going on.
It's a lot. It's busy. It's heavy. Yeah. It's heavy stuff. Yeah, like when do you sit down and talk to somebody and they reveal their entire past, and that past is not just like
9 times a day.
Yeah,
that's my job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I do that 9 times.
You hold space for so many people, don't you?
Man, I hold space and to connect with other people. Big thing of me right now is, how many people can I help with my experience? I started a book. I don't know if you've ever written down day 1 to day now. That was fulfilling.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Chapter 1. You're born. Let's go. Write down what it actually means and what comes up. What actually matters to you in your memory. Because there was so many more than what you actually wrote down, but those poignant ones that like you significant, that was a mark.
The thing that comes up when you think of it like that.
Mark of life. 8 years old, what happened at 8, 9, what happened there, 10, what happened there. And there's not many things that you can remember being joyful. It was a fucking shit show of a life. Sad case scenario. You can't even get past chapter 2 without going, I need to close this book.
Yeah.
And then I tried to think, well, have I got any good stuff to put back in there? So that's the next one. I've now finished the book. The book is finished. It's called Talk. Talk and Listen Knowingly. TALK. Men. Because half of it we don't. We just talk. We don't listen. No. Did a lot of listening this year.
That's a good
one. And I wrote that stuff down and I realised that was really helpful. Write it down. It's gone. It's in the book.
It's there.
Yeah. Then I'm really scared someone else to read this book though.
Do you know what? I wrote a book in 2016.
Did you?
Yeah, I wrote my first book in 2016. I'm currently writing another one now.
What was the main focus?
So the one now or
or both?
Well, so 2016 was like my first journey into self-discovery and healing and getting sober, and it was called The Best Version of You. And like I was getting out of bed at 4:00 in the morning. I was walking for 2 hours before I did anything, and I would walk, and what I would do is I would listen to songs that pulled up my traumas, my heartaches, my pains, and I would try and feel it to heal it. So I'm in this feeling. I'd sob. I'd be walking around hard in stone and fucking crying my eyes out. Yeah. And I would sob my eyes out, and then I would shift the focus. Say, right, now what? And then by the time I got to the gym, right, I've cried my eyes out every day. I've forgiven myself, and I've listened to something motivational, uplifting, powerful, and I would run or whatever I felt like in that moment. And I'd get to the gym and I'd train for 2 hours and I'd walk home and then I'd start writing. And, that book, we launched it, we had a video, we put that out, it had 500,000 views in like 4 days. Like that was in 2016 before everyone was an influencer. Like we're going to take the market, it's going to be amazing. Failed for a number of reasons.
Did it?
Yeah, well it didn't because I wrote a book, but it failed in the sense that like, I don't know many other people who say they wrote a book. So when you said that, like, I can say to myself, I fucking wrote a book.
Yeah, definitely not a fail though, is it? Maybe it just didn't sell.
It didn't sell. We sold some and it started to take off, but my business partner just, we fell out. But we won't go into that.
That was the lesson.
But so my new book and the book I'm writing now, which I haven't really spoken about too much, is tied to the podcast. So the podcast is called The Real Roadmap, and my book's called Mapping the Road from Nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm starting from zero, and I've written when I release the book.
Yeah.
And when I release the book is when the first chapter is made manifest. Mm-hmm. So I'm like reverse engineering. My life will look like, my income is, my family life is, my home is this, my business is that, my podcast does this, my business does, do you know what I mean? And I've written that, made manifest. So now I'm executing against that.
Your goals. You've goal set.
But I'm like, everybody writes their book in hindsight. We get to a place, we write the story of our life.
Yeah.
Me, my honest desire, and it feels like my spirit is always called to do this, is I've always said to myself, I want to tell my story in real time. Uh-huh. I want to write this book in real time. The things that I go through, the things that I learn, the uplift, to the day where, like, let's say, like, I'm getting married and my house is, I want a house, that has gates on the front. But I don't want a big, stupid house. I just want gates, So when I turn up, click, I don't want that for any other reason. Yeah. I want to be able to say, that's mine. Yeah? Click.
I get it.
Yeah? I want a nice car. We all want the material trappings, right? But inside that home, I want to be, I want my kids and my family to, all of them, everyone, to feel like if there's a problem, the person they go to, and it's going to take me a long time to build this credibility in their eyes because they're the ones that seen the mess of me, that they come to Liam. Daddy. Yeah. If it's a relationship problem, they go to daddy. If it's this problem, they go to daddy. If it's I want everyone to feel like I am the place that they can come.
Did you have that space?
Never
in yourself. So we're creating it.
I want to create that more than I want to do anything else.
I think that's why we are where we are now, is because we never had something. We really urged for it. So we're going to create our own. That
urge, and I think what's interesting about what you said there is brilliant, because like who you and I are, I feel particularly as well, I could be completely wrong what I'm saying, but I know for me that my desire to be seen and loved by my dad, right, has never left me, right? And that is part of my character, that my behaviour is filtered through, i.e. I will work harder, I will try more things, I will continue to do, I will separate myself from in order to achieve. I've done a lot of things in my life, I've achieved some really great things, I've pushed myself hard, all from that space, but what I've done is detached from that in the sense of I'm doing this now because it's who I am, but I'm not doing it for that. Does that make sense? So like you said, with this detachment, who I am is made up of all my experiences in my life. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever felt, every heartache, every letdown, everything that I've ever done that's stupid and wrong, have all made me. It's my unique fingerprint on my life. So I no longer do things for validation from anyone outside of myself. I do them for validation from my family in the future. Yeah. So the decade that I spend building this thing is a time where this is going to be documented episode by episode on YouTube. It is going to be like, honestly, if I showed you a picture of my car, and bear in mind, I want to sort of say this today, like, so I lost everything. I bought a car for £950. Yeah. Because everything went wrong. That blew up, head gasket on the way back from a ceremony. Yeah. Waited 5 hours, got home, couldn't get a new car. I was fucked. I was building my business. Like, we just couldn't do it. Managed to get a car. My mate, my business partner, took me some money to go and buy a car. Bought that car. Yeah. 500 quid it was. Shit. Dead. Piece of shit. Yeah. Like, what 3 hubcaps on it? It gets me about, I can pick my kids up, right? I'm fine. While I'm building my company and while I'm doing this, fine. Right. I brokered a deal today. Yeah. I get to pick up a brand new Range Rover Velar next week. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right. So for me, right, that's one of the boxes ticked in this year, in 1 year.
Isn't that incredible? And most people think it takes like 5 years to get to somewhere like, oh, well, that's the ambition.
Yeah.
No, you can have anything you want.
I'm fighting like fuck. I am making deals left, right and centre and I'm a deal maker. That's what I've all done. Yeah. I used to make deals with drug dealers to not get beaten up when I couldn't fucking pay them.
Talk yourself out of it.
Oh, I literally, I've taught myself out of fucking hidings. I've been kidnapped a couple of times. That wasn't fun. I got kidnapped once and I got taken back to this flat and they'd given me like quite a lot of pills and quite a lot of stuff to get rid of. And I was really shit drug dealer as a child. So I'd taken most of it. When they picked me up, because I'd taken so many pills, I was off my head. So they've hit me round the head with a gun. Yeah. As they've done that, it's brought me up. So I'm like, boo, like, do you know when you start rushing, when you're taking pills, they've hit me. I'm like, oh, well, I've just dissolved into a puddle on the sofa. Like, oh my God. They honestly, they were beating me up for about half an hour and then they booted me out. They were like, we ain't getting fuck all out of this twat. And then I found 2 pills in my pocket on the way home and I ate them. I was a mess, mate. But I've been through some shit, right? And I love the fact that I've come from like almost being like this year, I had nowhere to live. Yeah, I lost my home. I was staying with a friend. Then he had something going with his kids, so he got his kids back. So I had to move out of there. I moved into a guy's house in Bedford, and he let me stay there. He wasn't living there; he was with his girlfriend. They split up. So then he came back. He's got 3 kids. I've got 3. So there was like all these kids, like. And for me, then I got my own flat in Milton Keynes. My business started trading. Things started to look up. I've brokered like loads of deals. I've got loads of stuff going on.
And 1 year.
I've done, mate, and I've done this with the help of the Man Cave. So it's my mate set up a men's mental health meeting over in Milton Keynes called the Man Cave.
Man Cave, yeah. I've been watching them, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm one of the leadership team with them. I'm setting up the one in Northampton.
Excellent.
So I'm in talks with a few places in Northampton to let us facilitate a space, and then we're going to be opening up the men's mental health there. But since then, I have done all the healing work. I've made amends everywhere I've tried, building myself back up from zero, and I'm writing up. Like, what better opportunity to start writing a book when you're zero? I'm blessed with that gift, but I'm also blessed with me as a gift. That's the first time I felt that about myself. I have to trust me. I have to be able to value myself enough to know that I will do the thing that I want to do in my life, because I ain't never coming back here ever again. This is the furthest I've ever got. I'm 35 now. Officially,
real change happens.
Halfway. I'm halfway. What? And I tell you what, if I can do this in a year, give me 35 more. We'll see where we're at. Yeah,
you've got 35 more.
Exactly.
A lot of us get to about middle age, 35, 40,
40,
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if you die at 75, that's
about that, right? Yeah.
And then you start. Something has to happen for you to change.
Yeah, man.
And that's the trouble. Why does it have to happen? Well, because usually it has to happen.
Yeah.
You have to sit in your shit long enough that you start fucking thinking of it.
Yeah, man.
And get the fuck up and wash yourself down and never go back there because you knew how much it hurt.
Yeah, man.
That was my thing. So around your age, that's when I started this journey.
Yeah.
And started really putting the work in. I'd slip off the rails though, but I wouldn't be so unkind to myself. You know, I wouldn't beat myself up so much. If I did slip off the rails, it was going to happen. Now, would I beat myself up? No, I'd probably even say, I've got a wedding to go to.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a drink.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to drink to the excess. I'm not going to be putting stuff up my nose until stupid. And then hating the world and hating me. Plus your bodies don't want to do it. There comes to a point, you can't imagine it when you're doing it in your 50s, your 60s. And I look at my grandparents or my grandfather when he was alive. Grandfather was a magician, kindest man in the world.
Wow.
He really looked after me after my father took his life. And I look up to that man, and now I'm as a grandfather. I'm a grandfather of 2
I still can't get my head around that.
I know. That makes you grow up, you know, and I've got that love around me, wanting to, because I had children, that kept me here. My brother didn't have children. So he went to the excess of where I could, that path. He was rock and roll, you know, he developed psychosis. And eventually, after heroin and everything else, he took his own life because of the pain. We say he took his own life. He took an overdose. So
it's self-caused.
He was Jesus' age, you know, and both my father was. And having children for me kept me in check every single week, every single month.
Wow.
I'd have a weekend on, weekend off. I'm a Saturday dad. Yeah. Weekend father. And I am a weekend father to 3 children and 3 different mums.
Wow.
But every Friday, I get in my car and I'll drive to Manchester, pick my son up and drive back. Every Saturday morning, I'll drive to Gloucester and pick my daughter and turn back. I was accountable because my father wasn't there. I will be there. I will be better than that. And that's kept me going. And then the odd weekend, I'd have the wobble. But yeah, now I'm really, really enjoying it. I enjoy every day, give myself a pat on the back. It's another day. When you have those urges to go backwards as well, you know, and you get through that urge of addiction and you come onto the other side of it. But that's why I took up something else so radical, and that was boxing.
Yeah.
I took up boxing.
Yeah.
Because I felt courage and safety in men after all these years. Going to these men's group, opening up, speaking there, and trusting men took me to the gym of people punching each other in the face for fun. And I was so scared of going, but I took that leap of faith again, because on the other side of fear is growth.
Yeah.
Everything I've been afraid of and giving up. I was afraid of giving up because I might relapse. That's normal. Like, I was scared of getting well because people maybe expect too much of me. And that's what keeps you there. The fear of doing better. That was a scare.
It's just easier to not try, isn't it? It's so much easier for me to go, just give us a bag. I'll meet at a pub. I'll be there. I'll stand in front of a fruit machine, pressing these buttons, effectively losing money until the end of the night. And then I'll probably go and do more weird shit and pay for it. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, because it's so much easier than the perpetual distraction is easier than the facing of the pain, because what we're trying to do is avert our attention from these dark parts. You even said to yourself, you said to me earlier, I knew the work I had to do and I couldn't do it. So a lot of us know inside of us that there is inevitably shit to face. Fucking turn into it. It's you.
Lean into that.
Fucking lean into yourself and go, right, come on then, let's have it. Now I know this is going to hurt, but like, this is what really saved me, is I will nurture myself through that. Now, I'm going to sit here and we're going to fucking face these things you're getting wrong. Somebody said something to me the other day about how I'd been at the start of this year, maybe have been perceived by others. And I was like, shit, I'm not perfect. I'm learning, right? And in that process, if somebody can give you feedback and it's going to be triggering, don't tell me I got it wrong again. Let it in. Okay, I'm really sorry I did that, or I sounded like that. That wasn't my intent. I didn't realise that was how it came across. I should have thought about this, and this. And I definitely will do that again in the future. I appreciate you giving me the space to grow. You know, you treat things.
I appreciate you. Yeah,
but you
I
have
appreciate you telling me. Yeah.
But like, men don't afford each other. Like, what we do, men will go down the pub and we'll validate each other's arguments. She's not sucking me off. She's moaning at me all the time. Fucking, I'm not getting this. She doesn't see all the things I'm doing, which is fine and probably true. Okay. Yeah. But we're never educated by another man to say, do you know what, mate? What aren't you doing?
Yeah.
And women do the same thing. He's not this, he's not that. And I think if we as a group of people stopped looking for what other people can give us and started looking at what we can give them, I don't care what you want to be in this relationship. I know what I need. I know what I can be. If what I am is good enough for you and you can give me this back, this is going to work. But if you're always expecting me to be a certain way and I'm expecting you to be a certain way, unspoken. Neither of us are going to know what we're doing. Let's fucking be vulnerable enough to talk about this. Like, look, none of us know what we're doing. Take our names, our jobs, it's just two people in a house trying to bring up children.
Yeah.
Or attempt to parent or attempt to partner. Like, can we not just accept we've probably got this a bit wrong? I haven't done this right. You haven't done that right. Let's figure this out. You know what I mean? I think it's so important that we stop pushing for other people to do stuff for us. I tell you what I'm willing to do for you. I will do these things. If it's not right for you, then I get my space. I walk away. Yeah. Yeah. Because I set my boundaries. I set my life out. If you want to be within my boundaries, that's cool. But boundaries aren't, again, I'm ranting now, but boundaries aren't these fucking rigid things. Boundaries are set to protect you. But you don't say to somebody like, don't cross this boundary, or I'm never going to talk to you again. You set the boundary, and if they're accidentally coming across the boundary, you express the boundary again. Look, because if you talk in this way, look, I'm sorry you're doing this. I'm sorry this has happened again. I guess I'm feeling a little triggered about the fact that now you're starting to continue to cross the boundary. Like, I don't want to have to put distance in between us, but like I will, because I need to protect myself. Now, I love you and I want you about, but we need to honour this. I'll put it here. If you were doing the same thing, you'd expect the same. Can we work on that? Even how you present the information, the tone of how you say something has so much impact. It's when we point, you fucking don't listen to my fucking boundary. You don't give me my fucking space. Articulate it how you would like to be articulated with. If somebody can't jump on your side of the fence and they can't learn that stuff, they either have to be willing to learn or not. I think that's why relationships are falling down these days, and why they didn't back in the day, because people knew what they wanted. Yeah. We were like, our relationship is what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. And back in the day, it was like, you disappear down the pub, you drink your fucking 8 pints, you're back at 8, we'll have dinner and we'll watch TV for 2 hours, we'll go to bed. That's how life was. One parented, one grafted. Now everyone's at fucking work. All of us. Yeah. So, yeah. Every one of us.
But demands are on, yeah.
So we've all got the demands of each other. We've got the demands of the world. We've got the demands of the fucking taxes and the government and the ever fucking changing terrains of everything, and emotion and healing, and like, it's all clumsy, and we're all taking part in it, and we all blame each other for being shit at it. No one's fucking taught us anything, in my opinion. I've got on a right soapbox then. But Stewie, how long are we?
Just over an hour.
So how? We've got a little bit of time there.
Got lovely.
Can you sort of go into a little bit more about, if you're able to, like your career journey? How was that formed who you are, and how where you are now is different from, like, what bits of you are the same from however long ago you started to now? What bits are you the same, and what is it, that thread that ties all that between then and now? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you've changed loads and times changed and
progressed. Yeah, you ripen. I ripened as a man.
Yeah.
I feel like as I've got older, I've definitely ripened. And now I am a gentle man. Okay. You know, I haven't got to worry, fight. I haven't got that fight. I'm protected. I'm the grandfather. Back in my early days, I looked for a sense of belonging. So how I fell into hairdressing and the idea of the fall is to, you know, to feel go beyond and fall into something. Because you never know what's going to be around the corner. Is this the right choice?
Yeah.
I got a box of clippers, and it was my father's unopened present. And from Christmas Day. So out of something bad, there is always something good. That gift was given to me later, and I opened it, and I kept it, and I watched the video, and I started cutting hair from home. And I created friendships. I had a purpose for them. Most of life is what can you get out of someone, and what can you offer someone. That's a good friendship, you know, when you've got something to give each other back and forth. It's not one-sided. So that's how I developed mine. And then I went to work for a man who took me as a son, an Italian man, full of life, full of beans, and made me laugh, paid me with hand sandwiches and cigarettes. And I'd go and hang out there and speak to women every day. And and say, how lovely are you? And give them a service. It was beautiful. It was a real nice thing. And I didn't want to be at school. I moved schools. I didn't fit into school. School wasn't for me. I was artistic, very artistic, almost borderline autistic. So I was creative. And I struggled through school, straight out of school, straight into another salon. Next level up. I want to go work for that one. And they look after me. And then I started doing 3 days of school, 3 days hairdressing. Then got myself into foster care. And that was amazing. That sorted me out. That was a real life family. Got a sense of family. And they took me on. All of the uncles, the aunties, they all took me on as their family. That was lovely. That came to an end at 16. And then struggling along the way, really.
Do you still see that family? You speak to them?
It's a sad story. That is because they were my father's second wife,
right?
Sharon, who I saw as a mother, and she brought me up. It was her parents that fostered me.
Wow.
Took me from Jesus Army, and they gifted me life. They were beautiful, beautiful people. I was a troubled child and a teenager, and they were old people. I don't see them. I see my sister, but I don't see that family. There was something that happened, but from there, life, it was beautiful. Then I lost touch with them. And then I went on to work for another hire company and went to like Tony and Guy and worked for them for a bit, and then worked for another man who was an Italian man who I saw as a father figure. And then from him, I had my first baby at 19. And I jumped from being a trainee to then I realized that the power of confidence, talk yourself into a good game, visions of grandeur. I'd go around telling everybody I was better than I am, but self-belief. I know I don't believe it. I know my limits, but I know where I want to be. So I'm going to talk that guy. I'm going to be that guy. I'm not going to be the guy I am. I'm going to be the guy I want to be. I'm going to talk about him. So forever self-perpetuating a good story. And then I eventually got a manager's job, and I wasn't even properly qualified at this point, but they believed me. And then I had to put hands to action, and that then started working. And the connections I made connected me to all the things that I am not happy with the bosses that I have and how they treat me and how they've been treated and how they treat others. I knew that I want my own business because I cannot work for anyone else. I see straight through you and I know what we should do. Then I went on to open my own first salon with partners. I've found the money somehow. And, I still in a bed sit at the time, but I took a gamble and someone took a gamble in me and it paid off. And then it didn't pay off. Stuff happens. And I lost that business. And I went down to that and then I went, right, I've been there now. I've tasted it. I can do that. Then you've got a car and a bag of shoes, your bag of clothes. That's all you have. You haven't got any humbler home. And I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. And when you're in there and you've got nothing to lose, everything is a gain.
Yeah.
Every little thing. It's like now I'm older, I've got a lot to lose. I'm a little bit more cautious. I'm making big decisions now. But back then, all in, cards all in. Let's take the gamble. Let's go for it. So then I hustle. I'm a very good hustler, and I'll speak and communicate and I'll make things happen. I don't just sit and then wait for them. I'll go and get it. Yep. So that came to me. And then I opened my first salon, another salon in Gold Street after working from people's houses. All of these people have followed me that I've cut there and had that connection with. It's not just about the haircut. It's the connection with that person. That person that I cut at 13 years old, I still do now. It's 41. There, she paid me with food. Now she pays me with £100 an hour. And that's all that time. And there's so many of those I've gathered over the time that I love. And I love them. I have a genuine love for these people. But also when I had my salon, I didn't get it right. Self-destructed. And things got in the way. Fighting, drugs, all these little things. Now and again, I was doing a good job, but not quite getting there. Doing it. And I just can't. And then the TV opportunities would come my way. And
that's massive. Sorry to interrupt, but it's massive to have what I couldn't fathom in my mind and what I've struggled with since I've known you or known of you is how has somebody done that? How does somebody do that? How do you like take cutting hair, which let's say a lot of people do in the Northamptonshire area.
Yes.
There's loads,
About hundreds of thousands of
yeah.
us. How do you get into there?
How do you make it into that narrow opportunity of like, oh, this guy will go on the telly?
Truly believe it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, as I say, visions of grandeur, like the stuff I'm a celebrity hairdresser. I work in TV. I didn't. I never even met a celebrity, but I truly believe that's the person I am. I was so embodied with that person that I had to become that person. And those things would then move into my path and turn up to everything, make the effort to say yes. And then even if I was so scared of doing something and I knew it was out of my depth, I'd say yes anyway, then go away and learn it.
Yeah.
That was it. And back then we didn't have internet or anything.
YouTube.
So we had books. We had to go and have books. The first TV show was a Great British Hairdresser, which was a competition like Great British Bake Off. And you had to enter for the rehearsals and stuff like that. But it's from the first phone call that I got, and the client told me to enter it. I knew it was mine. I knew that was mine. I knew we were going up against 2,000 other others. How could I have that such a self-belief? It's the connection with people. You either connect with them, you can talk with them and feel it, embrace it, let it happen. And don't get me wrong, there are some times where it's not worked. It's because I truly haven't believed it was mine.
Yeah.
There was that inkling that I wasn't so convinced that that is mine. I am heading there. There was something just pulling me away. And that's when you're not going to get that. It's when you're 100% conviction that that's what you're going to do. And you start talking a good game and the opportunities will come in your way. If you see an opportunity, you've got to keep going for it. Some things I've turned up for, I shouldn't think, that's not worth going to.
Yeah.
And it turns into something bigger than you thought.
Right.
So then that TV show, when it got into the house, there was 10 of us in the end from all over the country. And we competed against daily tasks, sometimes do 2 or 3 daily tasks. And I was rubbish. I was god-awfully rubbish. And I knew I do not want to be voted out on day one. Day one, you stood up there with the judges. That's my career over. That's everything over for me. And I quickly learned the power of showmanship to screen time. Oh, I know what they're looking for. I'm going to act up. They're going to want me back on TV for next season. And I learned how to act and perform for TV very quickly. I adapted to my situation.
Yeah.
And that adaptability to adapt to any situation, that's a gift that I have. And eventually went on to show 8. Got to show 8. I started getting better. At one point, they were heroing me for the grand final. And I got from the bottom two for 2 weeks, then up to the top. And then I said, in a nice, real powerful ending, I would like to leave.
Did you?
Yeah, I walked out with the opportunity of winning. The win wasn't there for me. The experience and the journey and my exit right now is going to be great TV. Powerful point. I felt it. And I went, it's time for me to go. Because I'm sick to death of how you're treating everybody here. You know, bad bosses have taught me how to be a good boss.
Right.
They've left me with that. You know, a lot of people that you don't learn much from, or you learn what you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So then that progressed me on to open my own business. And I made mistakes, a lot of them, and several mixing up personalities, didn't know who I was. And this current state that I'm in, I've only just this year mastered the perfect team. I am in an abundance of perfection and it's wonderful.
Really?
I've just got to keep it there now.
Yeah, I think when you're dealing with other people as well, I've only ever seen this once. Twice. There's a company I worked for and the culture was unbelievable. It was just fucking, everyone there, we all got on, we were there for each other. It was such fun. Every night out was amazing. It was just no drama, no bullshit. And then they tried to expand the company and then it was a bit different. It changed. But there's one of my closest pals, I think you might know him, Matt Spears.
Yes, I know Matt Spears.
He's one of my closest friends. he's got a tattoo shop
Yeah.
he's got 3. He's got a tattooist in Dunstable called The Hand of Mysteries, shameless plug. That shop, every member of staff in there, the culture in there is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. That it's like a family in there, and the way they communicate with each other. And Matt's like the dad, but he's not, because he's silly as well. And it's like, I love having him as a friend, but B, when I go into his shop, I'm like, oh my God, how have you done that? And that culture makes work not work.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though you're there, it's not work. And that's where a lot of people get stuck and lost. It's like, people don't want to go to work. We don't want to work.
Yeah.
But if the culture was what the culture should be, work isn't work. Like, this is work, but this isn't work. I love this. Easy.
It's still work. Someone said that, like, you'd never work a day in your life. I'm like, I graft.
Yeah.
I graft. Yes, I love it though. I love it. That's what makes me graft harder.
Yeah.
So go after what you do love and you work harder at it. That's the simple.
Well, it's like having that energy to do, like, if I loved painting buildings and I was paid for it, like, yes, on paper it's work, but also, like, if you weren't paying me, I'll be painting this building. Like,
going back to, like, with Matt's place, the family environment, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you can create that engagement, a safe place, and it will always start with the owner.
Yeah.
You are, like, if I go into a room, I can ruin a room. I can also glow with a room.
yeah.
I can make that room happen.
Yeah.
And that's that when you got to keep turning up. And when I wasn't well, it was harder. When my team had my back, some of the guys that work for me have been working for me for 17 years.
That's insane.
17 years, so that long a time ago when I was talking about the bad days, no, they weren't bad days. They were learning days.
Yeah. Okay.
I learned so much. I was going to mess up. I was going to be crazy and do these things because hormones and everything else.
Yeah,
are
just
there.
sort of life in general, isn't it?
It was perfect at the moment. There's nothing I can look back to. Nothing I look back and feel shame and actual guilt. Actually, am I ashamed of that? Am I guilty of that? No, you've been a good person your whole life.
Yeah.
Hairdressing has kept me there because I've had to speak to Susan, who's 65, and then come back down to my mate's level at 18, who's a party man, and have this communication with all sorts of people. And the knowledge they give me was powerful.
Yeah.
And I make them feel amazing at the end of it. And I share my story with them and they become my family. So I've got a massive extended family. Now, I don't know if you've thought about my funeral a lot. You ever think about your funeral? Who would be there? Who's standing by there? What would they say about you?
Yeah. So I thought about this not long back, and I thought that one of the things that was going to be a common theme for me is if I had my funeral now, everyone would turn up and go, oh, he fucking tried. He tried. He kept trying. And now he's dead. But for me,
I don't know why we laugh at
that. It's a bit like, it's funny because
probably laugh.
I want to know. I want to know that when I die, they say the same thing. He tried, and he fucking did it. He fucking did it. Yeah, I don't care whether it's not the financial value that comes with it. It's the fact that I got what I set out to get, being exactly who I am. Yeah, no manipulation, no fucking shady shit, no bullshit. Like, I built this from zero, and the day that me and my business partner have got an out of our company, we know what we're doing, and we've got a plan to get there. And I'm 35. I reckon it'll probably take 10 years if I get to that point. If I can do it sooner, great. But the day that I get to do that, I'm not going to stop. Yeah, I'm out, and then next thing, because that's who I am. And that's what I want to be remembered for. Like, fucking hell, he did all right, didn't he? He was the guy that was in the pub with no money, sniffing every weekend, like, that couldn't manage his entire life. He just couldn't do it. He was a useless idiot, but he had more heart than you could even fathom. Like, and I trust myself.
And he's a good person.
I knew that deep down I am a good person, but my behaviour doesn't exhibit that at times. It hasn't, because like when you're borrowing money because you're skint and you're like, oh, gives 50 quid, or you're ringing the dick, can I have 3 for 100 and I'll pay you next week. And then before you know it, you've got loads of people chasing you for money, and then you're like, oh, might as well carry on. Like I made a massive mess.
Yeah.
Over years of making a mess means that, like, it's not like, if you were cleaning, if you like, let's say you had a party house, yeah, and you rented it out for the weekend, yeah, and you go in, it might be in a bit of a mess if they didn't clean up. But if it was going to be a party house and no one cleaned it up for 10 years, it's going to be a fucking shithole crack den, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, and that's where my life got to. It was a shithole crack den.
The pinnacle.
Like the greatest version of shit you could possibly, like, and I don't say that lightly. Like, and I've taken pride. And like part of something I've been working on is like a bit of a personal development course that I've been asked to do my first speaking gig in a while for Nissan next week.
Excellent.
Which is nice. But I built a personal development course a little while ago, just based on my own experience. And one of the things that I've put in there for a framework is like this analogy of like the house. So the house, if you were buying a house to live in it, right? And you had an unlimited budget, which we all have inside us, yeah. The house is you, yeah, and your bedroom is the relationship with your partner, and your kid's bedroom is your relationship with your kids, and the bathroom is how you look after yourself and your relationship with yourself. The kitchen's how you feed yourself and what active role you play in the household. And the living room's how you relax. The loft is where all the fucking shit is that you've got to clear out. You're going to make a nice space up there and have that as a route. Like, who knows? So the analogy for me is that, like, if you're going to buy a house, you're going to renovate it, you don't just start, right? You go around every room and you would make an itinerary, right? The kitchen, I want a new floor. I want to pull all these things out. I've noticed a damp spot up there. There's probably a leak then. So then what you would do is you would list out all the things that you were going to do in the kitchen. You would then define which bits you need help with. Yeah, you'd get the people in to help with that. The rest of the stuff that you wanted to do yourself, you do yourself or try.
Yeah.
You know, and when you look at things objectively like that, like, how do I want my life to look? If I'm renovating this house to be everything that I want it to be, am I going to do it according to budget, or am I going to extend my budget by working hard? You know what I mean? Your budget is your effort. Yeah, and the effort you put into your relationship or your kids or your fucking health and well-being, you will yield results. People aren't shredded with six packs because they, like Dan Jones, you know, Dan Jones, PT. Every time I look at him, Geezer's in unbelievable shape.
He lives with me.
Does he?
It's my housemate.
He's amazing.
He's got my room.
He's a good lad.
I love him.
But he's not in that shape by accident. He does the work, he eats the food, he does the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you get that. If you want the business comes with doing the work, creating the business, having the staff,
the vision.
The vision, right? Anything requires that. But if you don't get in a plane and go, right, I'm going to go to Tenerife. Where's that? I don't know. Just point it that way and go. You have to have a clear plan. You know, to need what route you're taking, what time you're setting off, what time you're getting back. You know what I mean? I'm going to make it.
There is a lot of things of just giving it a chance and giving it a go.
Well, you could fly a plane naturally.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going a bit off piste.
Yeah.
But you would, if you took the time to figure out where you're going, you're still going to end up there, right? You might go the fucking long way.
I did a lot of winging it.
Yeah,
a lot of winging it.
Yeah. It's all winging it, isn't it? Yeah.
And a lot of when I didn't think I was good enough, just giving it a go. Just give it a go. There's those times where I think a lot of people fail because they're scared of failing. I'm not scared of failing. I throw myself straight at it.
Yeah, man.
I'm not scared of getting in that ring in front of 800 of my friends and failing. I wasn't scared of that. I was scared of not performing for me. Not have I done enough in that ring to box this man who's, you know, a scaffolder, just come out of prison.
Brilliant.
And I'm going to go and fight this geezer. Yeah, and I gave it my all. But I did the work. I kept turning up. Consistency, devotion to that was unreal. But to do something different, that's another thing that I'd like to touch on. What are you doing? That's totally different. Like totally freaking different. Like to shock your whole nervous system into learning a new skill. And very quickly, because it's going to hurt you if you don't.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say you wanted to learn to skydive, you're gonna put the time in. You're not just going to turn up and get in there and embarrass yourself. You've got to learn a new thing. And I think a lot of people who are men that get older, they stop and they get consistent and complacent. I'm never content. People say, "Well, you're never content." I'm like,
that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't want to be. That's my quickest way to depression, contentment.
sitting.
Yeah, I think
Oh, all right.
most men when they hit retirement, they die. I want to keep working.
Yeah.
So you're going to cut hair for the rest of your life? God no.
No.
Am I going to be a hairdresser for the rest of your life? God no. I've got to get out because I've mastered it. I was 14th in the country. I'm getting the next toll today to see where I placed.
Oh yeah.
14th. I'm like, that's amazing. And I still don't feel good enough. I still don't think.
We just established there's hundreds of thousands. It's funny how your brain's like, yeah, still not good enough.
Still
It's
not
like,
good enough. I'm still not good. I still got somewhere to go. There's always another level.
How is it ranked? How does the ranking
I don't
work?
know. I was just making this stuff up.
14th. Yeah, I'll take it.
So this year is the first time I haven't entered British Hairdresser of the Year or any
You've
competition.
won loads of times, haven't you?
Yeah, I've won it for other people. I've won it for myself. I've won business awards. I've won all this. And what a crock of shit that's been. All I've done there is feed someone else's pocket. It's got me to where I need to be, though. I had to turn up. I had to enter. I had to give my artistic impression to the creative side of things. But I've realised now in my last year that I didn't need those things. I took the ego away. There's no ego left. Put the ego aside. What's left?
Well, art is subjective anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So was those
It's
the
like
competition.
someone could walk into this empty studio and they could look at it and be like, oh, it's just a fucking podcast studio. But then you might have someone walk in and be like, so many dreams were shared in this room, and the visual, like, you know what I mean?
That's how I looked at it when I walked in. This is cool.
Listen, I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I mean, Stuart Carter from the podcast studio in Milton Keynes. Shameless plug. He can't hear me because he's got headphones on. What he's done in this place is brilliant, and I love being around people that are trying stuff.
Yeah.
When you're in a position where people are trying stuff, you can get into that state of where people are trying stuff and it's just not working. Like when you're in the lower levels of like effort, right? But then you see people that are doing, like setting up and doing. Like this was an idea and now it's here and we've got action. Yeah, like at the start of this year. So the company that I was working for, I was doing a bit of work to try and set something up. I offered it to them. They didn't want it. Got to a place where they ended up firing me for some sort of breach of a contract, legal. Then I got these big legal things, all this sort of stuff. But in the course of this year, from zero, I've raised some money to start my business, like not a little bit, quite a bit. Got my business started, accepted my life for where it was at. And I've built everything from zero. We've got a CRM system. We've got every conceivable like metric in place. We've got everything there, right? And it's working. And
Do you believe in yourself right now? I
didn't believe in myself.
No, right now.
Right now, fuck me, yeah.
Fuck me, and that's what other people will see now.
I believe it. I have
sheer
to believe in myself.
conviction of what you're doing. It's in you. God, I know you're serious.
Yeah,
I feel it. You can feel someone's energy. You can feel a con artist, can't you?
Yeah.
You can feel them.
Yeah, it's 50 quid, please, man.
Yeah, they get you.
Yeah,
but when you're a true, authentic self, and you're sincere, and you hold a good integrity. I only learned what integrity meant this year.
It's a mad thing, isn't it? Well, I learned that at the start of this year. You wouldn't believe it. We aren't taught on the common values as men. We're not taught on the common values of honour and integrity and respect. Like we think respect is shutting up when your teacher's talking. Yeah?
Yeah.
No, respect's not talking shit about your mate when he's not there.
Yeah, the integrity. Yeah. It took me a 5-year-old girl to teach me that.
Really?
I said, what's integrity, dear? She said, always do the right thing when no one's watching. I was
Gangster.
like, my goodness.
You win. Completed it, mate.
And to hold that, I've started noticing other men around me that I don't want around me. I surround myself with good people.
Sure.
And I'm choosing my friends now. My friends list is totally different to what it was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I still hold on to a few.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well. Not to be the most popular person. Stay in your lane. See what's right.
Yeah.
My partner is my best friend. Yeah. My children are my best friend. That's what's carrying me for the future. And those men that are staying with me now, and a lot of those are the people I've met this year are my best self. Some people want to hang on to you because you're poorly or you're in the same crowd. Or some people like the poorly you. They don't like the new you.
Well, the new you holds a mirror up to them.
That's it. That's what I'd like to say. It shows you for your true colours of where you go, and they're scared of coming with me.
Well, it happens to me a lot. Yeah, but they fall off because the complexity of our conversation. Yeah, the depth that it can go, the honourable, the vulnerable, all of the balls that you could probably assign to this conversation is a lot of people can't go to that place. And when you I could sit with somebody in front of somebody in the pub, and I could talk to them and say, do you know what? Like, you might think I know everything about everything, and you might think I'm fucking this guy and he's got a podcast and a business and all that shit. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I am just turning up every day. And I wake up in the morning and I think, yeah, I'm going to keep going. Like, fucking hell, I've exposed who I am to the world for what I am trying to be. And I am healing myself by going, do you know what? If you don't like me, eat a massive dick and go somewhere else, right? Probably would say
they're not your people.
Yeah, they're not my people,
they're
man.
Not your people.
My people are my
okay.
people, and when I've got my people, I like my people because I can be me.
Yes,
I will not rot in myself by being what I think you need me to be. But when you leave here, you're not. Yeah. I'm like, oh, do you like me? Do you like me?
Yeah.
They're like, no, they're right. I'm eating pizza. Like, I don't even care. And I'm like, yeah, but do you like me? Like, it's just too much.
You get to that space. That's a good space.
It's liberating when you go, when I'm in the gym, right? My moments for me are in the gym, right? And I've got a very specific music I listen to. It's weird as fuck, but I'm completely okay with it, right? And I've got my headphones in the gym and I'll be dancing around. It'll be 5 o'clock in the morning and I don't give a shit. Yeah, I do not care. And it's so liberating because dancing for me ain't a thing that I do. You put me to a party, I am dancing, But in the gym, I'll have a little scoot about, I'll enjoy myself. I don't care who's watching, because it's me.
Yeah.
I'm expressing the thing that feels all right to me, and the only thing that's uncomfortable in this is how you feel about it. Does that make sense? If I'm dancing about in the gym, what are you doing, mate? Why is it not all right for you?
Or a queue somewhere. Yeah. You know, you're queuing up to the aeroplane, you have a little bop to your headphones.
Yeah, I love it, mate.
And people like that, and the thing is, there comes to a point where people are looking at you with envy.
Yeah.
And go, I want a bit of what he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's free as well.
It's free. Yeah. To lose yourself, to be playful is a beautiful thing. Like in my men's groups, we roar. Roar like
that's
lions.
hard to do though.
And then you got to be all feminine. Oh my God. Well, not in front of a load of men. We're going to be feminine.
I'm accidentally feminine.
Yeah. Well, I think the balance between masculine and feminine is a powerful man.
I mean, look how I'm sat. Like,
I'm mirroring you as well. I've mirrored you. I've mirrored you. Look.
Feminine for me, right? So my feminine element is something I'm not ashamed of, right? I can be soft. I can be delicate. We can go deep. I want to talk. I'll talk for hours. Like, I want to talk about all things. I want to know someone intimately.
Yeah.
That's my feminine, yeah? The masculine is like, if something happens at all, I will protect you with every fibre of my being.
Yeah.
I will give everything I am to this pursuit of my life. That masculinity for me is like picking up the phone, making the calls you don't want to make, going to the gym, training when you don't want to eat. Like, for me, parenting as a dad, like, I wasn't, the structure of my upbringing was very different. It was very antiquated roles. Mum did all things in the house. Like, don't get me wrong, that would be a lovely thing to do. But these day and age, I take care of all things. Yeah, cook, clean. I'm on top of all things. Yeah, and that's how I take care of my
someone
shit.
else to do that now.
Yeah, well, soon, mate.
Soon. There was a thing.
I don't want to waste my time doing shit like that. Like, yes, the effort is great, but also, like, for what, 75 quid a week? Somebody come and do it for me? Yes, please. Yes, like, please. One day.
Or you're busy doing something else.
Yeah.
Only do that when you can, like, physically. Okay, how much do I pay them? How much can I earn for that hour? How much can I pay someone for that hour? Yeah. That's how business happened for me. Yeah. Is that I couldn't read and write. I couldn't do my accountancy. You know, it's not that I couldn't. I just didn't want to. Yeah. I'm good at this. I'm good at this bit. I need to be better at this bit.
Yeah.
And then I need recruits and I need these people. And those jobs now, I have an accountancy. Yeah. I have this one. I have this person. I have this person. I have this person. Soon enough, you got a business, and that was incredible. So I had a goal. I manifested this dream of having the salon that I've got now.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Which I own outright. I own it. It's mine. There's no lease. Nobody to govern me. I'm not very good with people governing
Yeah,
me,
in leadership. Yeah.
let alone my wife doing it to me or my children having
Yeah.
a hold on me. So I always knew that was my destination. Now my destination was to
You
have this
own that
dream.
outright.
Outright.
Mortgage
Done.
free,
Done.
unencumbered.
Done.
Gangster
Deal.
shit. Done.
And I couldn't afford it. I had to then convince other people to buy it with me. And that was like, how believable are you? That's what I said. Do you really believe in yourself? I really believed I could make this work. And I didn't have enough to do it.
You got lots of chairs in there, haven't you?
40.
40 chairs?
40 chairs. We've got Academy. We've got the restaurant in the Garden New Ovo with Stuart Wright.
That's yours?
That's not mine, it's Stuart's. We own the complex, and that we all came in together. It was shut. It was the
Even
gates
the lease
on, the
on that then pays well,
yeah,
right?
it just happened. And I couldn't afford
All the way
whole
up to the
building.
end?
Yeah, so you've got the alleyway and then the big building.
So
And
you've got New Ovo at the back.
Yeah, and that's that bit there.
That bit there, and then the salon
And the
to
big
the right,
building, yeah.
Okay.
So we managed to buy it. Somehow, somewhere, we just knew we had to give it a go and keep going towards that dream. If the dream isn't going to be a reality, it will tell you at some point. I would have been more disappointed not chasing it. I've got another dream now. Now I've done that. I've got to British Hairdresser #1. I've done 2 seasons of Body Fixers. Yeah, I completed fucking Netflix. Like, what a tick. That came at the right time.
Amazing.
When I was down on my ass, turned the TV on, my face pops up, and I was like, am I tripping balls? Because they didn't tell me.
Really?
And then next thing you know, I'm on fucking Netflix.
good.
Someone's just thrown me another bone. Now get up. Go. Yeah,
Really?
I've lost everything, Daniel. Yes, your salon's shut, but you can still do this. So I went online. I started teaching online for free. And then people came and that started paying my bills. There's always another way. Are you
How
willing
long
to get
ago
there?
was this?
That was COVID.
Really? Oh, because they shut everything down.
Oh,
didn't they?
shut, man. I had my arms cut behind my head, cut off. You know, that was horrible for a hairdresser. Horrible.
Did they? Because it was
I communicate.
everyone was self-employed as well, were they?
Well, no, I employ everybody.
Oh, so then they.
I didn't get paid. They got paid.
Fuck.
And then I pay tax on them. But I had to keep my team, keep everyone going. So I would check in with them, realizing that I should check in with everyone across the world. Because if I'm feeling like that, I might have something to offer you and help. Went for a massive breakup at that time, just had a baby and breaking up, separated house. Oh, it was chaos. But you survive it. There's always brighter days. There is always going to be a better day. It has to be. And then when you get to the time where I wanted to commit suicide, yeah, you either commit suicide or you go on a path of never feeling like that again. Never going to feel like that again. What have I got to? That was too close to the bone.
Yeah.
So what have I fucking got to do? And I've got to do that work I've never done. And I know what it is.
Isn't it funny how the underlying theme of those moments is always the healing?
Yeah.
Every time. It's not anything else. Like, oh, my life's a mess again. What did you do this time? How did you do that? Yeah, it can also be outside things, but there's also massive things that you're playing a part in.
Yeah.
Healing first. Like, if I could give any advice to an 18-year-old now, my personal opinion is have a look at who you are. While you're still young enough your mind is still formable, go and do a bit of work on yourself. Get on a fucking plane, go to Peru for a few months, go and explore, go and travel, sit with some plant medicines and figure yourself out. Then come back to the world.
Yeah. Responsibly.
Obviously, don't fucking go and do crazy shit.
These plant medicines are becoming quite the opposite of what they should be used for now.
Sure.
They're getting abused.
Yeah.
So when we speak about plant medicines so openly, I do it in such controlled, it's really controlled. Yeah. I know who's with me, who's doing it, the purpose of why I'm doing it. It's not about just getting high.
It's not about, it's never been about getting high for me at all.
Oh my God, it's horrendous.
It's horrible. There's nothing nice about it.
Why would you treat yourself to that?
Mate, it was like, I joked with my shaman, right? Look, so when we go into these ceremonies, there is nothing light about it. I'm on a diet for 2 weeks. I'm doing a dieta. Like, I'm going into it properly. I'm going with an intention. I sit like even the pre-ceremony, sometimes I think that the blessing of the medicine goes on for so long, but that's part of the tradition. That's what changes the context.
Yeah.
It's not me and Barry sitting in some geezer's fucking flat that we've got off of some guy and we're going to drink ayahuasca in his flat and hopefully heal ourselves and then go for it and have a Toblerone when we're finished. Do you know what I mean? It's just not like that.
Nah.
It's like this deeply spiritual practice with people that are way ahead of you in this world that are there to teach you. Yeah. Like one of the worst ones I had, right? So for hours and hours and hours, I've had this horrible experience, yeah? And it was like, and we went deep. It was a one-to-one ceremony, which is normally there's like 10 or 15 of us. It was a one-to-one ceremony. It was horrible, right? Yeah. But every shake of the chikapa was for me. Every Icaro, like they do Icaros chanting and stuff like that, every single syllable was for me. It was all for me. Yeah. And I went to this horrible place where the medicine showed me how I really felt about myself. And it was like this horrible, like you're the most, like one of the visions was, I was the most disgusting human being on the planet. Like everybody, do you know, like something really bad comes out in the paper and everyone's just like Ian Huntley level there. Yeah. But I come out as this fucking horrible man who like done drugs and like just like this horrible sequence of things. And it was just like the whole world wanted me to die. Yeah. And it got to a point where even in the trip, it was like not the trip but the journey. It was like even my own family, they were like, we don't act like it got to a point where they weren't even bothered like that I was wanted to kill myself. They were like, it doesn't even matter that you exist anymore. Kill yourself or not. You are no longer part of our lineage. That was the depth of the experience. To me, that's not a fun thing to do. It was a horrible place to visit. And that took me months to process that. And that's really how I felt about myself. Years of conditioning, three ceremonies it took to shift that. And when it came up, I cried my eyes out. And it was just like, that was real work.
That was the work.
That's the work. Face how you feel about yourself.
There's no other way. There are other ways of doing it. But that one has been the best one for me.
Same for me.
To shake that shit out of my gut. Mine was grief.
Really?
I met grief. Because when my dad died.
Serious grief. And it's heavy.
Christmas Day, I didn't grieve.
How old were you?
8. Yeah, happy Christmas. And that moment there, I went into shock. I speak to my mum recently. And she said, you know, you sat still, quiet. Your brother was roaring. Your brother roared the house down. We got the doctors out to your brother. And she said, he's expressing. It's fine. I'm more worried about him. He's not said a word. I just sat there and I just accepted that my brother was hurting, so I need to be there for him. And I never then realised that I hadn't grieved. I didn't go to my father's funeral. I didn't believe it. And then all years I trapped that in me. So the first thing that this plant medicine gave me was pain in my lower gut. Put me to the floor, passed out, went inwards, and my whole body looked like it was searching for what I've come here with the intention of searching. It went through my lungs, my heartbeat. I could see the connection, the connected bits in my body. And then it went there it is. And it went, whoom, brought it back up. I was like, whoa, I'm back. Then there was my dead dad's head in my lap. And it wouldn't move. And as much as I wanted to get away from it, it stayed. I went outside. I can't deal with that. I'm fucking freaking out, guys. Went back in, and there it is. Like GPS had just put it there. And the shaman said, "You have to go and do the work now." And I just sat with him, and I sobbed like a child would sob. You know that?
Yeah. yeah.
Horrible. Oh my! And I hadn't done that for so many years to get it out, and then it would, and I'll be tensing up. Oh God! And tensing up, and then I went through I just went through it, and I just remember exchanging. I miss you, and I could feel him saying it back. I could hear his voice, and I was like, "This is as fucking real as this is real." And I'm
it's as real as it needs to be.
Oh my God! And it weren't moving. It weren't like tripping from one thing to another. You did the work. Once that was done, and then he said, "You have to let me go." I'm like, because I've never forgiven him or let him go.
Mm-hmm.
I've kept him. I'm keeping you. Like, that's the only bit of my dad I can have. It's a memory of you being alive. I don't remember you dead. You didn't die. You didn't kill yourself. You didn't leave me as an 8-year-old boy to defend to the fucking sexual beasts that were waiting for me at home. You were my only protector, and I idolized you, and you fucking left me. You fucking left me.
Oh.
And that, for me, and then to say, I forgive you all these years later, you know, I was fucking, I was like, okay, I got you. And then it went on to do violent things, and I was fighting demons, fighting the guy who sexually abused me, and I killed his spirit. Turns out he's fucking dead 5 days later. That shit. So
That's
I'm like,
fucking
come
bends your
on.
head.
Come on.
Really?
Did you? Like, fucking
Really?
hell. Yeah, well, you knew he was going to prison. Because this year, 41, all right, what's in my closet? Yeah, all right. I carry that with me, but that's not my energy. You can have that back now, motherfuckers. You can have that back. You sexually abused me as a child. You're done. I'm not waiting for grandma to die so I can just put you and to call you out. You're still hurting people. So I dealt with that. Just fucking dealt with it, no matter what. Police have been rubbish. But grief is something that will ruin you if you don't deal with it or express it as a man. As a man, we're taught to hold on to things, to be the macho. You can't see anyone make you cry, but a real man cries. A real man does cry and bellow it out. And
that's the space, right? And this is where I really respect what you're saying. And I think there's a caveat to it. Yeah, it's nuanced in the sense that bellow, cry, get it out, own it. Yeah, that is not going to be the reason you cause shit in your life. Yeah, because if you don't do the bellowing and the tears and the crying, that is going to leak out into the world with you, and you're going to cause some fucking shit.
Yeah.
If, like, when stuff happens, feel the feeling, man. Face it, allow it in. It's going to hurt for weeks, months. That's cool.
It shall pass.
It's normal. You need to feel that. When you shy away, you run away from it, you drink, you take drugs, you do whatever thing you need to do to go and get rid of that feeling. Yeah? It's never leaving. It's always there.
It's always.
Go and face it, sit with it, nurture yourself, inner work, inner child work. Like the inner work, the reparenting for me is massive. If I'm flapping and I'm getting something wrong, I'll sit myself down and I'll say, listen, I'm the adult here. Yeah. Right? I understand why you're feeling this way. Yeah. Because I'd never felt safe to express as a child, like whatever I was feeling. I just never felt safe.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you are the adult, and I've got you, and I've always had you, and we're cool. And I just reparent myself, and like, even if I'm being clumsy around people that I love, I'm sorry I did that. I guess I was feeling this way. I've not dealt with this bit maybe too much, and I'm working on that now. It takes
guts, doesn't it?
But you just have to reveal, like, look, we're not, like, because let's say for me at the moment, right, if a part of a relationship is triggering for me, yeah, all relationships are triggering.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't manifest the bravery to say exactly how I'm really feeling without blame, because
first,
you go, like, this isn't your fault or my fault. This is just how I'm feeling. I've never expressed these feelings before. They've just manifested in me sulking or being cross or being angry or thinking you don't love me or whatever. I just want to express this is how I'm feeling. These are the things that have happened that have made me feel like that. These aren't your fault. This is how I'm feeling. Is that all right? Yeah, that's cool. I've got you. And if that space you can find being held, where you nurture yourself and you give yourself permission to feel, what else is there? You're not carrying it around harbored on.
When you're doing that work, what you're doing is opening up your heart.
Yeah.
You're opening up this space to allow your woman to feel that she can open her heart.
Yeah.
And that trust. And then you know, the penetration that gives us, like how they speak about their women in Peru.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And my woman, she gave birth and she went through this pain to deliver me a son.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I've never spoke about women like, and now I've started to change my language of how I talk to my woman, how I tell her I love her without her asking me. Tell her these things that she needs to hear. You're beautiful. You're kind. Thank you for doing that laundry. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. So much that it becomes normal. And it's almost like I have created another woman here who is she trusts me so much now. Her heart is truly open and she trusts me to penetrate.
That's a unique thing to find. But like, this is what I think the world has got wrong. We think we're just going to run around and find that.
No,
you may find that. You may find that initially, but if you're not healed, you're fucking creating worse shit. You're going to cause more trauma. How many people have you watched? Me particularly, I get into relationships and I make a mess. So I'm not healed.
Yeah, starts with us.
And that honeymoon period, that brief window of beautiful love
that we'll get. That you turned up with.
I'll do anything for you. But then the real shit comes out and it's like, I'm a twat.
Because you're not your authentic self.
No.
If you could be your authentic self on your first date, you wouldn't have any dates, would you? Nah. So yeah, throw yourself in at the deep end, show your true authentic self.
I think, I don't know if you've heard this, Gary Brecker talks about this in the sense that, I don't know if you've heard of Gary Brecker, incredible guy. And he talks about the fact that that they've measured the frequencies of people, right? And they've measured various frequencies, yeah? And we always thought love was the greatest frequency, yeah? But the highest frequency by 4,000 times is authenticity.
Yeah.
Your greatest ability to emit the highest frequency is being authentic.
When your authentic self.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm only being my authentic self now because I like myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing those things I didn't like about myself.
But you don't feel the shame that you felt towards the feelings that you had because, that's not who I am. I'm just feeling that because they did that to me 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Or this happened to me then. Like, that's that feeling. Yeah. She's not abandoned you. Yeah, just because she don't want to sleep with you tonight, she's not abandoned you. And the rejection and the pain. It's
I don't like that.
I don't like that. But that rejection, it's an abandonment. Yeah. It's a wound. Yeah. Why me? Don't you love me? If you think about it like a child, you should be able to be rejected.
Abandonment is massive, isn't it?
Am I not good enough? Don't you love me? You're the only thing in the world that I need. Do you love me? Come on, please.
Do you ever get annoyed? My partner will get annoyed. Or I'll get annoyed when she's saying, do you love me? Do you love me? And this. And I'll get slightly annoyed because I'm like, am I not showing you enough love? Hang on, Dan. What was that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, catch yourself. Have a word with yourself and just tell her what she needs to hear. It's hard, isn't it?
It's hard. So all relationships are hard. Don't get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. But so everybody needs love and attention in a specific way. And for us to find what your partner's way is the magic, because you can nurture that and you eliminate the questions.
Oh yeah, that's it.
If you nurture that, you eliminate the question. If she's nagging you for these things, eliminate the nagging by going, why does she need that? What didn't she get? And how can I bridge that gap for her? Because it goes back to that point I made earlier. Like, if you want them to exhibit behaviors that you need from them, you have to manifest the behaviors that they need from you. And you have to learn that person in order to give them the behavior. And it's not like merit. It's not like, here's a treat. It's like, look, I love you enough to really try. And if I do that, your effort's your thing. I'm not going to expect. And then when that comes back, you go, oh, that was good. That's what I needed.
Yeah. It's a nice place to be.
It's like we pay. No, hold on, mate. We pay into the synergy. Yeah. You have to pay into the synergy. You invest in a relationship. A relationship is like, the Disney movies have made this bullshit representation that some princess in a fucking tower is going to wait for this geezer on a horse to turn up and fucking save her from her long old hair. You know what I mean? What's actually going to happen is two of you are going to bump into each other at some point in time, and you're going to have to figure out how to treat each other. Yeah. And you're going to have to decide that person is going to be good enough for you to give that effort. And that's what we struggle with, because women innately with men will put the effort in. Men are normally traumatized and wounded, walking around making a mess, I would class. Like I know more traumatized women from lads that have started sleeping with them, got them pregnant, can't stop sniffing and drinking, keep disappearing off. They're pregnant at a thing that they're doing, which is the most complex thing a woman can do in terms of like physiologically, but also emotionally. They've waited for this moment forever, and you're ruining it.
Yeah.
You're ruining it. You're ruining that moment for them. When they want the strong masculine male, Scott, I've got you in this.
Yeah,
moment.
I've got you.
I've got you in this moment.
Yeah.
And how do you think they're going to treat you? Oh, he's my prince. Yeah, he is your prince because he fucking acted like a prince, treated you like royalty.
Yeah.
Not like some common slag from down the pub.
Yeah. I hang out with men now that have and talk about their women lovely. Talk about other women really lovely.
Yeah.
I will not tolerate somebody that will be disgusting. Like I don't like it anymore. Back in my day, we used to have banter about these things. And I'm careful on what information my brain receives.
Yeah.
Like I will not have that. Right. And I will judge you on that as well because that's me. And I will quickly make more assumptions now of who I want in my life and who I'm going to talk to. Yeah.
Well, it's a raised level of awareness.
The awareness now.
Yeah. I feel like when I've healed myself to a certain point, I'm not healed. P.S. I have difficulties, right? But the work that I've done, it allows me to go, I can read this situation much better.
Yeah.
I can stand in a room now and I can look around and go, I can see you're hurting. I can see it in your face.
Can you see that?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Like
that's powerful.
I can see the lot. But the thing is like sometimes you can't even encourage them to open up about it because the truth doesn't come out as the story.
Yeah.
The most dangerous thing that the human being has in order to eliminate themselves from the actual healing process is to continue to live in the story.
Yeah.
This happened, that, this, that. Fine.
It doesn't define you.
Doesn't define you, but what are you really feeling about it? The problem isn't that. It's how you're feeling about it. I felt abandoned. I felt lost. I felt abandoned in this moment. And I guess when I sat there, like I was depressed and I was sad and I just wanted my mum to love me. Like if you express the truth, not, well, he did this and she did that and they did this. It's like this long, horrible story that doesn't liberate you from your feelings because the story, in fact, enforces the narrative. That's why I'm like this, that there. Oh, that's horrible, that is. Yes, of course it's fucking horrible. I bet you've told people about your journey and everyone's like, fucking hell. I have too. And, we talk about the car accident and stuff like that. It's like, fucking hell, I didn't know. It's like, yeah, but that's not the problem.
They can't see that.
It's me. In here is the problem. I never once rang my drug dealer and was like, oh, mum and daddy didn't love me. Can I have a few bags? I didn't even think about it. I'm just like,
See, I never did drugs when I was sad.
Didn't you?
Never. Oh, no.
But they cause the sadness.
Oh, yeah. I always did it when I was on a high. I've had a good time. Let's carry on with the good time. I want to hold on to the good time.
Yeah.
And then know that I've got the crash coming. Yeah, it's weird. When I was sad, I'd just smoke weed and just sit still and be calm and try to find
all changing how you feel, though.
We all had a coping mechanism, but quitting smoking was my best one. Taking a breath. Oh, that's a bit amazing.
I quit as well. So I made the stupid transition because I didn't want to smell of smoke anymore because all of a sudden I thought that was weird when I was brought up smoking in fags in fucking pubs and that. Like you could sit in these smoky rooms. And now it's like someone walks in with a fag after a fag and I'm like, fucking hell. So I quit smoking, but then I got onto vaping and like that's even more dangerous. They're 10 times as strong and they're like I was smoking loads of them and I'll be in bed and I'll like wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like trying to find my vape. Like trying to...
They love it, don't they? Keep us addicted to something.
Yeah, something, mate. I just like, strawberry death. You know what I mean? I just fucking... all of a sudden, I just started about 3 months ago after a mushroom ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that in Bali for the first time. Mushrooms in Bali.
Yeah.
Not that, it's funny thing is, the most beautiful experience, but you don't go rushing back.
Nah. I had a bit of a heroic dose. So I did quite a large dose and I did it via lemon tech as well. So Yeah, I had a fucking full ego death.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was
yeah, they were-
again, another horrible, like people think, oh, I can't do acid, I can't do mushrooms. Like, mate, I've had some of the most breakthrough experiences on acid in my life.
I'm a little bit on the fence. Even though I've done it and I've practiced it, I used it because I wanted to use it for that specific thing.
Yeah.
And I did it as a medical procedure.
Yeah, surgical, yeah.
There's no having fun with that.
It's not enjoyable.
I did that. But, you know, any of these things that are opening up parts of your brain that have gone to quiet, that's what I see it as.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll shake something up and activate a little kind of the neurons.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
you're alive. You're in it and you're in the present. As you say, you see colour better. You hear better. You receive things better and you're more open. But where I'm at now in my life is I know where I'm going to be. I've set my 10-year goal. There's my plan. There's my goal. My goal is to own a hotel in a hot country with a view of beautiful trees and hills and have a little lake. How do I get there? Okay, so I've got this humble home that I have, this humble salon that I've got. They're mine, they're beautiful, and now I'm paying for that off. I could be happy where I'm at. Happy there.
There's something else to bite on.
I've got to go for the next level. I've got to keep evolving, keep driving, have a go. So I'm remortgaging everything, literally everything, remortgaging. So I'm going to have the highest output at the highest time and it's like, well, if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. Yeah. And if you didn't do it, would you hate yourself that you didn't try? So I've set a realistic goal. This time I've got more to lose. So risk is high. So I have to do my calculations. So I figured out my market research backdrop. So I'm going to franchise. I'm going to rebrand. Daniel Granger is gone. It's finished. And I'm going to call it something else and create a brand and an awareness of this model. It's called Hotel Hair. And Hotel Hair is this totally different concept of salons that are going to go like a fucking steam train through England and hopefully Europe. And then I've got some backing because I'm conviction that I've been thinking and manifesting this idea for long enough. Let's go. Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is? Yeah, I am now because I believe in it. So it's going to work. It has to work.
These are the moments that you take, like, you know, I've spoken to some serious entrepreneurs and most of them have said, everything I've ever done, I've had to use somebody else's money for. I've had to leverage other people's money, either whether that's the banks, whether that's a mortgage. You have to leverage somebody else's money.
Leverage trust.
Yeah. But that leverage is leverage on your desires and your goals, but your capacity to execute against them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where, like, I think is the most exciting thing. And look, I think we're getting close to wrap up time on this, but I just wanted to say that I wish you absolutely the best of luck with that. I would be interested to interview you again in a couple of years' time.
See where I'm at.
See where you're at.
Yeah.
See where this is at. Yeah. See where I'm at. See where you're at. Because
that's the deal.
I just love this stuff.
Yeah.
I love this stuff because it's about
this day next year.
This day next year, yeah.
This day next year. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to? Where you should already know.
I do know. I know.
So where are you going to be?
Five. I need at least 5 figures a month landing in my account.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be at least 3 properties deep. So out in the market, and I want to be at least looking at my future gated property. That doesn't require much.
It's all realistic.
It's all realistic. If I can get to the position of the 10 a month minimum take home, a fucking beautiful house, bearing in mind that, you know, a beautiful house is going to need, you're probably going to need 2 or 3 a month for it. Yeah. Which is 30% of my income. Let's say I drop another couple of grand on the expenses of living there. So I put 50% of my income. If I can't live on 5 a month comfortably, I've got something wrong with me.
You're quite generous to yourself there.
You know what
I live on less.
Do you?
I live on a lot less.
Do you?
Yeah, a lot less.
But you live nicely though.
I live lovely.
Yeah, I live lovely.
I live lovely. Lovely.
Lovely.
I give away a lot.
Good.
Give away a huge amount of my wealth.
Do you?
A huge amount, yeah.
That's so nice.
And it's bit me on the ass a few times, but it gives me life. my people are my people.
Yeah.
You're coming with me.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm not selfish at all. There's not a selfish bone in my body.
We as people don't need loads. Like for me, the house, whatever the figures I've just quoted there are all circumstantial on rate and time and place and what deposit
It's a
I've
nice
got.
goal, isn't it?
But if you're not thinking, right, if that's the plan, I don't know how am I going to get there? The 3 properties, I'm in finance. I work in that world. If I'm not figuring out a way to make money using other people's money, there's something wrong with me. I have business partners. I have associates.
People want you to use their money.
I have people around me that we are doing things. We're making investments. We're building a business out.
Yeah.
We have like where we're at in our journey. Every business that we speak to that utilize our facility, like this is a fucking brilliant idea. This is a brilliant idea, and every company that we are in touch with, this is a great idea. It's a brilliant business. So we're like, right, well, they're all qualifying it. And then we've got some good income coming in now. So that's also qualifying it. So there's nothing to grumble about. I know I'm going to get there. So in a year's time, we'll have a little check-in.
Yeah.
Yeah? What day are we on? 20th of November.
20th of November.
Deal.
Little check-in.